Good morning, I am Regina Mercado and I'm here to share my insights about premarital sex. Is it okay to have premarital sex? That is a common question among teens and engaged couples. But first, what is premarital sex? Premarital sex is a sexual activity practiced by a person who is not yet married. Premarital sex is a huge problem in society today. People everywhere are not waiting until they get married to have sex. People having sex today are not aware of the consequences that come with having sex. They just think it is fun, and there are nothing other than fun comes with having sex. I am against premarital sex. There are so many consequences that you'll experience when you engage in premarital sex. One of the consequences of engaging in premarital sex is AIDS. This is a deadly virus that kills one's immune system. People suffer before they die from this disease. This disease has been responsible for killing millions of people. The way this virus is contracted is through exchange of bodily fluids. Sex is the number one way this virus is spread. What people are not realizing is this disease is deadly, and by having premarital sex and not being monogamous, they can also contract this disease. People are very aware that this disease is out there, but they do not understand that it can affect them. There are a lot of other diseases out there other than AIDS that are caused by having sex. Most other sexually transmitted diseases are deadly, but they are curable if found before they cause your body damage. Why would someone even want to take the chance of contracting one of these horrible diseases? Maybe because sex is fun? Pregnancy is one of premarital sex consequences. Those who are not married and have children don't only make their own lives harder by burdening themselves financially, but they also make it harder for their children to live without both of their parents, there for them at all times. In some cases, children are left with just one parent and have to grow up the rest of their lives, feeling unwanted because their biological father did not stick around. A child cannot comprehend the fact that his or her father just had sex with his or her mother. How could you explain this to a child? You couldn't, and if you did, there will be definitely something wrong with you. Obviously, premarital sex does more damage than good because of its negative effects on such a large part of our lives. It can alter our emotional, social, spiritual, and physical lives forever. It may seem right at that time, but it obviously does more harm than good in the long run. That's why there are a lot of people who are against premarital sex, including me, of course. Premarital sex has no moral grounds. It is against God, and it is unsafe physically and emotionally. Most people don't consider the emotional effects of premarital sex. You see, sex is an emotional experience, and it affects our lives in ways we don't understand. After engaging in premarital sex, many people express feelings of guilt, embarrassment, distrust, resentment, lack of respect, tension, and so much more. Morality is a factor for many people when deciding whether or not to have premarital sex. Is it a factor to you? After all the messages we receive from the most TV shows and movies these days tell us everyone is doing it. But maybe there is something inside you, like a voice in your head, that is making you uncertain about whether or not sex before marriage is a right or wrong action. The Bible explains the body is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord and the Lord of the body. We see that the Bible promotes complete and total self-discipline from premarital sex. In discussing premarital sex, we often focus on the recreation aspect of it. Yes, sex is pleasurable. God, our Creator, Creator designed it in that way. It may be hard to think of God creating sex, but He did. In God's plan, sex was designed for married couples to enjoy the pleasure and excitement of sexual relations. God created sex to be fun, exciting, and pleasurable. At the same time, though it is clear in the Bible that God restricts sexual activity to married couples. In God's view, sex is for reproduction. God does not limit sex to married couples to rob pleasure from those who are unmarried. Rather, God commands against premarital sex in order to protect unmarried people from unwanted pregnancies from children born to parents who do not want them, and to protect children from parents who are not prepared for them. Imagine for a moment a world without premarital sex. There will be no sexually transmitted diseases, there will be no unwanted pregnancies, there will be no abortions, and etc. God is very much against premarital sex. I have a story of my friend to share. She was 13 when she engaged with premarital sex. She was forced by his boyfriend to have sex with him. Her boyfriend told her that having sex with her can make him happy and satisfied. My friend thought that if she didn't give her virginity to this guy, she can make her boyfriend happy. And her boyfriend might look for another woman and leave her. Because my friend loves his boyfriend so much, and she is so scared of losing this guy, she gave what his boyfriend wants, and it resulted to pregnancy. She had a baby at the age of 14. But sad to say, her boyfriend left her when he found out that he is already a father. He ran away and left my friend and his responsibilities. With my friend's story, I learned that having sex with your partner is not the only way to make them happy and way to show your love for each other. Because some says that making love with your partner is a way to show how much you love your partner. Another problem with premarital sex is you didn't save yourself. If you give yourself away, you'll never be whole for that special someone. Even if you engage to the person who you have sex with, you will regret it. There's just something special about waiting until after the vows. Being able to tell your teenager someday that, yes, we waited until after we were married. It is possible to remain a virgin. Will be one of the best things you can tell your child someday. Hopefully, people will begin to look at everything they can lose from having sex before marriage. The same goes for those who cannot be monogamous. People should hold themselves to a higher standard. If people had more confidence, I believe that they would feel they needed to have sex to impress people or to make people happy. Sex should be a result of love and should have more meaning than it does to some people. They need to save sexual intercourse until marriage, and if they have been having sexual intercourse, they should stop and to figure out why it was so wrong to be having sexual intercourse. Studies show quite clearly that those who remain virgins until have a much lower incidence of divorce. If I were to go over every reason that sex was wrong, the list would never end.